Quick video on the Corvette while it's on the lift. I don't have it up here too much, or haven't posted much of it on the lift. It's a 5.3 liter single turbo setup. It's kind of hacked together. I have a hitch on it for like drag and drive events. Miles Mayhem is the one I run. It used to be like an aftermarket basic hitch kit that come across on a couple mounting points. I added this up in here to support the weight. And then it used to be a flat bar, but then I had a 2-inch receiver on there just because I have a basket that hangs off it, just for the extra weight. Kind of stiffen that up, just adding weight to the car, that's all I do. The exhaust, being a single turbo, comes this 4-inch tip, 3.5, and then way down there it goes to a 3-inch and up and around the firewall because I couldn't get 3.5 through there. And definitely couldn't get 4-inch, that's why it's sticking out the hood on a cutout. But I think I'm gonna wire it off here and run a dual exhaust setup again on this thing, just so it looks half decent. Maybe tuck a muffler up on each side, quiet it down for the road trips. You can see, like any Corvette, the exhaust scrapes, especially on a 3.5-inch there, it sits quite low. That's not typical driving, that's, you know, some back roads and typical things like that. The diff is a built Dana 44 with a true track in it. No issues. The axles, being IRS, is really my weak point. This one in particular, I've broken 4 times, I think. You can see it's new axle, new straps. Got a new hub in there because I twisted that off. Got a hole in the floor from when things flop around. So that's the exhaust. You can see where it's 3.5 and it steps down to 3-inch, and it's just like a flex pipe, but 3-inch up and out. I got 202 sensors off the ECM. It's just a stock truck ECM P59, I think it is. They're wired together right now. I was getting like lean rich. One of the wires or something was going on there. So they're just spliced together, so the computer only sees one reading off one of these. I forget which one, to left and right bank. Should probably mount one here and one way up there in the mess somewhere to get an actual reading. Crossover pipe, C5 Corvette manifold, up and around the front of the oil pan and tucks up there. Looks like I got probably power steering fluid leaking, streetcar stuff. The wastegate, I used to have running back into the exhaust, now it just dumps out here. It's kind of tight through there. This is the complicated part, trying to keep these cars running cool. I have everything running on the stock fan shroud to say. I sectionalized it through here. I cut out 2 inches to shrink it just so I can get my turbo ahead. Then I have 2 fans in front of it and then the stock fan and behind it. You can see the intercooler tabs for the rear mounting part. Everything's hanging off the front, or the top, sorry. But it works good. I run plus 35 degree temperatures without any issues. 35 Celsius. You can see in through the intercooler there. No AC, so that's all gutted. TKX transmission. It's the only clean and shiny thing underneath here. It's a wonderful transmission. I used to have the TKO 600. That thing would not shift above 6,000 RPM. So now I'm shifting 65 to 68 where I have my rev limiter. Never an issue. It's an SST kit, which they sell Silver Sport transmissions. So it has a adapter bracket. You gotta cut out some of the factory stuff in there, but then the shifter relocates pretty much in the stock location. It's a nice transmission. Dry shaft loop. Got that. C-beam adapter, or not adapter, but like a plate, thick plate here just to rigid things up. That's always a problem on there. I think that's about it. Bell housing is not SFI rated. The only bell housing I can find is it's a little bit longer, just to keep the alignment kind of in place on this car. So I think a 1/2 inch is the SFI measurement, so I'll bring everything in, which my plan is to do that someday. But I think maybe a blanket or whatever to protect myself from the clutch flying apart is the plan. But yeah, lots of room to tuck that TKX in any project you want. The turbo oil feed line runs in through here. I noticed it's rubbing on my steering shaft, so I got some fixes there. I had a misfire, and I think I found it. So you can see 1, 2, 3 spark plugs. The 4th one's way up there. There's a lot of porcelain on that boot. I don't think I'm seated. Hopefully that's what it is. I'm not gonna mess around with O2 sensors. Everything's tucked up close except for where it drops around the diff. That's where I scrape. Fuel line, I'm running factory fuel lines. I should probably ditch that and rebuild it. It's hanging a little bit low there. Time I got to my fuel filter, which is Racetronics one. Then it's the returns off the regulator after the rail, so I'm getting good fuel pressure. All this garbage is my heater lines, which I have bypassed. Because with the LS I couldn't, well I could, but then the turbo is all rubbing in there. So I come up, or off the water pump, down underneath and run it up around by there. Fairly clean install. You can see I got a plate I tack welded in here. This is my crotch belt for my harness and the seats. I had some haters on this. I ended up cutting off the studs on the seats and then built a bracket and drilled through the factory locating places for the seats. You can see there's a beam here, through here, and a couple of plates. But these are known to break those studs, so whatever. I have this side just ground off, nothing on it. Because I was hoping to get the factory seat belts in. They won't fit with the race seats, so now you need to get a harness for the passenger. Yeah, it's a quick video on the C4 kind of how I did it. Still looks good for 88 Corvette. The cage, just got my certification, 850 cert on that thing, so I'll post a video on that it actually passed and how I did it.